Trump gave a speech in Iowa that was supposed to celebrate America's 250th birthday. Instead, he turned it into the most unhinged, hate-filled rant I've ever seen from a sitting president. We're talking anti-Semitic slurs, declaring his hatred for half the country, admitting he doesn't believe his own border statistics, and bragging about bombing Iran like it's a video game. Oh, and he wants to turn the White House into a UFC cage fighting arena. I'm about to show you the clips that prove this man is completely unfit for office, all in his own words.
And this phenomenal patriotic sporting event will be nationally televised, and it will be led by our great Secretary of Health and Human Services, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who's really doing it well. He's great, and he's a little different, right?
A little different? The dude takes his grandkids swimming in septic waste. This guy doesn't believe in vaccines. He's got all kinds of crazy theories that are disproven by experts. A little crazy is an understatement. Let's keep moving.
You know, autism. You go back, I guess, 18 years, 10,000, think of this, out of 10,000 people, okay? 10,000 people, and I'll go a little different way. Right now, out of 10,000 people, 18 people don't have, they're safe.
Okay, what are you talking about, bro? You better loop it back around. Right now, this is just a rambling, incoherent mess. Look at all the people behind us. They're looking away at this point. This lady's about to put her phone down. She's like, I don't know. I don't want to get this on camera. It'll be embarrassing if I show this to my friends.
18 people. We have a statistic on autism that's the worst I've ever seen, and he's going to change it.
What statistic? Show it to us. Tell us about it. He's about to tell us about it, right? You think? I doubt it. Yeah, right.
Going to change it. It used to be 20 years ago, you just didn't have it. And now it's numbers that are unbelievable, where
Completely disproven, no basis in fact. Show me the stats that it shows that. I guarantee, if there's any MAGA supporters, whatever, you have nothing to show me. And you can come on my show anytime and show me your stats and I will quiz you.
The numbers are so bad, it's got to be artificially induced, and we're going to find out what it is and when. We're going to find it out as soon as possible.
When it's not that big of a problem or it's not that prevalent and you can't diagnose it correctly, yeah, you're going to have less diagnoses. Makes sense to me. I don't know. Okay.
I mean, you think about it, the numbers have increased by 200-fold. And that's really something.
I'm not even going to look that up. I can just tell you what? 200-fold? Okay, so what do you say? 18 out of 10,000. So now it's every 10,000, there's 3,600 people or something like that. I have no idea. These numbers don't make any sense. At this point, he's just rambling. Okay, so let's go over what he's about to say here. How much he hates us. All right, so let's go to this next clip. He's basically telling us that somehow we're going to save money with the big, beautiful bill. All economists, I know he went to Wharton, but obviously he wasn't paying attention, but all economists basically say that is impossible. Not that it couldn't be true, that it cannot be true. It is not possible for it to be true. So let's hear what he's got to say now.
But at the same time, this bill cuts $1.5 trillion in spending. So wasteful spending is being cut by $1.5 trillion. And I got to tell you, I want to thank Republican Congress.
Okay, so you're cutting 1.5 trillion, but you're adding 4. I'm sorry, the numbers aren't adding up. It's already been very well established that we're adding $3 trillion to the debt. You're talking about interest rates all the time and, threatening the Fed. That will kill interest rates. That's how interest rates go up. When the debt is so high, they don't trust you, obviously. It's just like consumers. If I don't pay my bills, it's going to be hard for me to get a loan. They might give me 30% interest rates. So that doesn't make any sense. Move on.
Congressmen and women, because what they did is incredible last night. And the Senate, the Republican Senate, we got, not with all of the things we did with the tax cuts and rebuilding our military, not one Democrat voted for us. And I think we use it in the campaign that's coming up, the midterms, because
I can't wait for the Democrats to use it. It's like, I will vote for anybody that seems to know what they're doing and has good ideas, but they're going to use it. I know you think you got like a sly little plan where you're gonna kind of put these Medicaid cuts out to 2028, but some of this stuff is gonna go into force immediately. People are not gonna be able to fill out some of this stuff. You guys got to look this up. The amount of bureaucratic nightmare that this is going to cause people, it's going to be ridiculous. It's not going to be just illegal immigrants. It's going to be everybody. 10 million, 19 million projections. Yeah, this is going great.
We got to beat them. But all of the things that we've given, and they wouldn't vote only because they hate Trump.
No, it's because it's trash. I looked at the bill more times than one, even as they were editing it. It's trash. I just covered it in another episode. No good. I don't think he read it. His senators, the congressmen, a lot of them admitted to the world that they did not even read the bill. A bunch of crap was jammed in it at the last minute. So don't tell me that.
But I hate them too. You know that? So it's sort of I really do. I hate them.
That is not the way to govern a country, bro. You're supposed to be bringing people together. You are the president of the United States. Look at this guy back here, even Ultra MAGA back here. He doesn't even believe it. He's like, man, I might have some friends. I mean, you sound like you're kind of getting down on everybody, bro. I've already seen a couple people leave. This poor kid over here, he's got a hat on. He's like, man, mom, hold me. This lady hasn't crossed her arms about 2 seconds in and hasn't uncrossed them. So even these people don't believe you. They just want out.
I cannot stand them because I really believe they hate our country. You want to know the truth? But it kicks illegal.
They hate what you're doing to the country, man. He's about to say something about illegals and it kicks him off Medicaid when the truth is it's everybody.
Illegal aliens off of Medicaid and food stamps and allows us to hire 3,000 new Border Patrol agents and 10,000 new ICE agents, and they are great patriots, the Border Patrol.
I mean, the guys that wear masks either out of embarrassment or because they're basically KGB at this point. Those guys, really, yeah, heroes. And they're probably just doing their job. They probably hate their job at this point.
Patrol and ICE to carry out the largest deportation operation in the history of our country. And I don't like saying that. But we have a country. We have a country to run, and we have so many people coming in that shouldn't be here. And they did. They came in from prisons, and they came in from drugs and gangs and drug lords, the worst in the world. They came in from mental institutions. They emptied mental institutions into.
This is on par, maybe not as bad, of they're eating the dogs and they're eating the cats. Disproven, completely nonsense. Even the member of the debate, he's basically told him, yep, the mayor just called and said that's completely patently false. You don't even have to look hard in this guy's speech. I could destroy this if I spent 1 hour researching any of this. Most of the stuff's coming off the top of my head from everything I've already researched, and this is bullshit.
Our wonderful country, and I know exactly what's going on in Iowa. You had some horrible crime in Iowa caused by illegal aliens, but we're getting them the hell out of here. We have no choice.
Know exactly what. There are no studies. I looked that one up. No studies. I don't know what they're talking about. Iowa's probably the whitest nation in the world. We're the illegal immigrants. Not nation, I'm sorry, state. 86% of people are white in Iowa. None of these people look behind them like, yeah, I don't see anybody putting their hand up. Yeah, I've been a victim of crime. Yeah. And it's already been proven. Obviously, Americans commit more crimes than illegal immigrants, which makes sense logically. Obviously, they want to not, be in the spotlight at all, and otherwise they are going back. So what are you talking about, bro? All right, here's another one of my favorite parts. This rambling about farm inheritances. Might as well throw an anti-Semitic slur in there, even as you tell Israel that you're their biggest backer. The contradictions are startling.
And very importantly for Iowa, this bill rescues over 2 million family farms from the so-called estate tax or the death tax. In other words,
I didn't even realize he said that. 2 billion family farms. This guy he's already off his rocker, man. He's getting to end of era Biden levels at this point, and he's losing it, man, completely.
Before Trump, you were losing farms to the banks. Before Trump, you were losing the farms like nobody's ever seen before. You love your children. You don't feel so well. You pass away. You leave everything to your children. And
this is just a ramble. But in the first term, what ended up happening is they actually paid, the government did, so we did. The government paid a ton of monies to the farmers because of the tariffs that were hurting their businesses. Iowa is not doing good right now, so I don't even know why these people are here.
They have to pay a big estate tax, or a death tax, as we call it, and they couldn't do it. They go out and borrow money, and all of a sudden the bank is foreclosing on the farm. Not going to happen. You have no more estate tax. You have no more death tax to pay.
Not even gonna look that one up, but sure, sure, take it.
Now, that's if you love your children. If you don't love your children, it doesn't matter. Just forget about what I said. Not going to help. But if you love them, or if you love somebody that you're leaving it to, think of that. No death tax, no estate tax, no going to the banks and borrowing from, in some cases, a fine banker, and in some cases, Shylocks and bad people. But they took away a lot of...
Shylock. So some racist slurs. You got to throw a couple in there. I mean, I'm Trump. I gotta throw some racist shit in there. You gotta see what people say, how they react, see how the fake news reacts. I think that's what he dreams about as he goes to sleep. Like, what can I say tomorrow to get them to think I'm crazy?
A lot of family, they destroyed a lot of families, but we did the opposite. So just remember, to me, it's so important, and it was mostly important.
A big, beautiful bill is going to destroy so many families. Let's move on. All right, so let's get into the absolute arrogance of our president and a few other nonsensical things that he said.
It says Donald Trump was right about everything. And I said, no. I said, no. That sounds a little too conceited, but it happens to be
Does
true,
it?
I must say.
Does it?
This bill includes the largest tax cut in American history.
I'm sorry, but a lot of people here would be identifying themselves as Christians. Humility is number one with Christians. I don't think Jesus would ever say, other people should be saying I'm right about everything. That is reserved for him.
The largest spending cut in American history. The largest border security investment in American history. Although I must tell you, if you saw last month, they had 0 people coming through our border. 0.
Nearly impossible. Even 1 or 2. I mean, I can say it is way down. I mean, we looked into the stats. That is way down, doing a good job getting at the border. Crossing the border is not really happening anymore. But 0, it's always 0 or what, 4, 2 billion farms. You saved 2 billion farms in this earlier.
I'm not sure that's even possible. I'll take it, but somebody must have got the other character had hundreds of thousands of people every time. Sometimes in a day, they'd have over 100,000. We had 0.
What the hell are you talking about? In one day, 100,000? 100,000 people stretch across. I'm going to look it up. Give me a second. All right, I just had to look that up. So I did the math. If 100,000 people of average height, I actually made them shorter, like 5'5", are walking next to each other, with an average length of some kind of wingspan, that would stretch 104 miles. So nobody noticed, Trump. Nobody noticed. Stop saying these ridiculous numbers. 2 billion farmers or farms saved. 100 miles of people just cross the border in one day. Dude, you can't just say stuff. It's been 0 to 100,000. So if you can fool these idiots, I mean, there's some idiots out there. I know you said you love the poorly educated because they vote for you. Because even as you screw them, you can laugh behind their back and be like, oh, we'll take away their Medicaid and they'll still vote for me. You even said at one point you could shoot somebody in Times Square or, somewhere very equivalent to that and people would still vote for you. That's the kind of arrogance and the kind of evil we need to get the hell out of here.
Well, I don't know, for the month. It must be a little wrong. Maybe they're 2 or 3 or something, but I'll take the 0. And the group that makes up those stats, they're radical left Democrats, so it's probably true. We did a great job on the border. The largest welfare reform.
Okay, so very interesting. If you actually look deeply here, it was made up by radical left lunatics. So him saying 0 is probably true. So that he just admitted that all of his nonsense is fake, and the fake news that he calls fake is true. He just didn't know he admitted it, but he just did.
Reforms and military upgrades in modern times. That's what we're doing. We rebuilt our military in 2016 in their first term. We rebuilt it. They gave some of it away to Afghanistan in the most embarrassing day in the history of our country. You remember that? We remember that. We don't have days like that. We have days like we just had in Iran. That's the kind of days we have. Complete obliteration.
Very ironic, dude. He says we're in too many wars. I'm just gonna go do that. I'm gonna go and get us into another war. It wasn't complete obliteration. They didn't. That later on, they're like, "Oh, how come it leaked that we didn't do it? We didn't get them. Damn, we're gonna have to double down and tell everybody again and again and again. And if we keep saying it, then eventually they'll believe it. That's the strategy. I mean, this is not up for debate. It's obvious.
It turned out that was complete obliteration. Think of these guys flying way up in the air on a dark night, no moon, no nothing, and they hit every single target. It's the size of one half a refrigerator door, a little size, 2x2. But this is a declaration of independence from a really national decline. We had a national.
So now he's into a ramble from one sentence to the next. We don't really know what he's saying, and a lot of people behind him are looking pretty dumbfounded.
Decline. We were a laughing stock all over the world. We had a man as president who shouldn't have been there. You know that. He shouldn't have been there. But we really had.
A laughing stock of president? I just saw a mural written in France with the Statue of Liberty with her hands over her face because that is what they're thinking over in France. Like, I can't believe we gave some people like this the Statue of Liberty. But really, it's the American people. I mean, American people are good people. This guy has just kind of twisted everything to make it seem like we're not the same. You know, this guy.
Had independence now over the, if you look at it, the overtaxation where we were being taxed out of our lives, independence from overregulation. We have independence now from radical left bureaucrats and independence from the law.
You put that bill into effect and it's not set to expire for a little bit now. So what are you talking about? Are you talking about the last 4 years of the bill that he basically took in? And then he kind of kept some of your tariffs anyway. You know, Democrats most of the time can admit an idea is good. I mean, obviously they're politicians and partisan all the time, and there's not many good centrists in this country anymore. We need a lot more centrists.
Largest alien invasion that I think any country has ever seen. We've never had anything like that. These people were fools. They allowed it to happen. You know, we've already cured inflation. Your gas prices are way down.
Look those up. I already looked that up. Nope. That's, 0.5% January, 0.2% in February, 0.5% in March, and those numbers are a little higher than the historical average. It's not that inflation is that terrible that pisses me off so much about this guy. It's that he says these shit like it's fact. We're at 0% inflation. Inflation is part of the economy. If there's no inflation ever, then something is happening with our economy and we're actually going backwards. So inflation is normal. He's about to say gas. I already looked that stuff up. Gas prices are higher than the day he came into office. They had a temporary dip because this is like 1984. He's going to tell you that yesterday's numbers weren't this what they were, and you're going to believe it eventually. At least that is his plan.
Everything I said is that. But the one thing, it's hard. It's hard. Think of the time we spent on having murderers and gang members and prisoners from all over the world come into our country. We're getting them out fast, but it's a terrible thing what they've done to our country, and I hope you remember it.
It's already been proven. Everything this dude says has been proven, proven, proven. Obviously, American citizens commit more crimes than illegal immigrants or immigrants in general. It makes sense to me. An illegal immigrant, if I was in Italy and I'm just working, paying taxes, and I realize that, if I get stopped by the wrong person, I'm going to deportation jail, or I guess alligator Alcatraz, something like that, then I'm going to chill. I'm just going to do my job, go about my life, raise my family, have a good time. So I don't get that, man. You guys got to look this stuff up. This information is not hard to find. All right, guys, here's a clip where even Trump can't figure out if illegals are necessary workers or criminals. He's going to admit it to all of us right here.
While the illegal aliens lost 340,000, and we don't want bad for them, but look, we have a country to run, and we want to have them come in, and we want to have them help our farmers. You probably saw I got myself into a little trouble because I said.
So what he just said, in a roundabout way, real quick, obviously he's going to say more, is we want them to come in and help our farmers. So as long as they're helping our farmers, we'll kind of ignore it. So we're going to selectively choose, who gets prosecuted. I'm going to have a whole nother episode for you guys. There's just been some crazy shit where basically he's saying I can change the laws or I can ignore the laws at will. So that's the same thing here. He essentially wants farmers to get some migrants, but not other employers. So it's either all or none, dude. That's it. You can't have it both ways.
I don't want to take people away from the farmers. And we're going to do something I think that's going to be good because we want all the criminals out. Everybody agrees that we're finding the criminals, the murderers, the drug dealers. We're getting them the hell out of here. But the farmers, some of the farmers, many of you sitting right here, I have 4 friends right in the 5th row. But some of the farmers, they've had people working for them for years.
You probably weren't even farmers. I have 5 friends in the 5th row. I just threw that out there. I mean, they're not farmers, but I'm just rambling. You guys all eat this shit up. That's what he thinks in his head. These people are eating it up.
And we're going to do something. We're working with Christy, and we're going to do something that.
If you don't know who this is, Kristi Noem is the Secretary of Homeland Security who admitted in front of a congressional panel that she didn't know what habeas corpus was. Actually, rather, she, I guess, was convinced by Trump that habeas corpus is his ability and his right to remove people and arrest people and detain people illegally. It's the opposite.
We're going to sort of put the farmers in charge. And if a farmer's been with one of these people that work so hard, they bend over all day. We don't have too many people can do that.
Hypocrisy. We don't have too many people that can do that. So you're saying, what? Spanish people are more naturally inclined to want to bend over more? Like, what are you saying?
But they work very hard and they know them very well. And some of the farmers are literally, they cry.
This girl's nodding her head behind her. I mean, maybe she is a farmer. She's probably sitting there like, yeah, we need the migrant workers. None of us people want to do this shit.
When they see this happen, if a farmer is willing to vouch for these people in some way, Christy, I think we're going to have to just say that's going to be good, right? We're going to be good with it because
So different rules for different people. First, it starts with the migrants, and then it's going to be us.
We don't want to do it where we take all of the workers off the farms. We want the farms to do great like they're doing right now. So Christy Noem has done.
They're not doing great. Easily verifiable.
Done a fantastic job. And Tom Homan. And we're working on legislation right now. Susie, right? We're working on legislation right now where farmers, look, they know better. They work with them for years. You had cases where, not here, but just even over the years, where people have worked for on a farm for 14, 15 years, and they get thrown out pretty viciously. And
what are you talking about, dude? Are you the one that's going to throw them out viciously? Now you're just rambling, dude. This is incoherent to me. So your supporters have no idea what you're talking about.
We can't do it. We got to work with the farmers and people that have hotels and leisure properties too. We're going to work with them, and we're going to work very strong and smart. We're going to put you in charge. We're going to make you responsible.
Rules are important. Laws are important. It doesn't matter. Come on, man. Let me do whatever I want. That's his attitude.
And I think that's going to make a lot of people happy. Now, serious radical right people, who I also happen to like a lot,
serious radical right people. That means that he loves the radical. This guy is not a centrist. He has no interest in bringing anybody together. He's just an asshole.
May not be quite as happy, but they'll understand, won't they? Do you think so? Madam Secretary, look at you with a white hat on. Do you think they'll understand that? You're the one that brought this whole situation up. Brooke Rollins brought it up, and she said...
Are we having a cabinet meeting, or is this a speech? Nobody knows.
So we have a little problem. The farmers are losing a lot of people. And we figured it out, and we have some great stuff being written, and let the farmers be responsible. And then if the farmers...
So what? You're handling the farmers, you're going to hand them badges too in case... I want you to arrest the lazy ones. Go get those lazy but make sure you get the hard workers and keep them here. Don't let them go anywhere. It'll probably be the opposite. They'll put the wall up and turn them back like a South Park episode. Stay and work. I'm sorry, we didn't actually want you guys to stop working.
Don't do a good job, we'll throw them the hell out of the country. We'll let the illegals stay, and we'll throw the farmer the hell out, okay? Get ready, farmer, I'm telling you.
Ridiculous. See, look at these people. They're starting to look away. They don't even know what the hell he's talking about. It's more and more bullshit. Always with this guy. Okay, so let's go over this section. Shows some of the sociopathic behavior. But mostly, I love it just because at the end of it, I don't really know what he said. Most people don't. I mean, I think that's why so many people left during like campaign rallies and stuff. He would just start rambling. It's like, okay, I think he's becoming like Biden. And he talked for a little while. Some of it was coherent, and he's already off the rails. So let's get out of here.
We could make it later. And we had nobody but four gunners. We had four, they call them gunners, and they shoot the Patriots. They shoot the missiles up. It's hard to believe. So all of a sudden they said, we're ready. And they were a little nervous about doing it, I want to tell you. Can you imagine? They were nice enough. This is Iran to call me and tell me that they would like to shoot me at 14 times.
Okay, so he mentioned a country, so now I can understand what he's talking about. He said they were obliterated. None of that stuff is verified. They can't find the uranium. Uranium's radioactive, so with the technology we have, couldn't find it. So it's been moved. Oh, he's talking about the retaliation from Iran. All right, let's hear this.
So they want to shoot us. And I said, go ahead. And they shot 14 high grade, very fast missiles. Every single one of them was shot down routinely by these four unbelievable gunmen.
Good. Okay, they were shot down. Didn't hurt any Americans. Great. So they called you, told you we're gonna send some missiles, so that way our constituents, even though it's pretty much they don't have any, at this point they have no challengers. So they're gonna do that, and then what? So that way they can look good. And they're telling you so that way you can shoot them down. So what is so impressive about that? And I doubt they sent the best ones they have when they know it's going to get shot down and they're warning you. So what kind of accomplishment is that? What is this?
And they did their job. And
As I
that was the end of that. But the big thing was the attack on their nuclear facilities, what those people did. And you know, they're going to be in Washington tomorrow at the White House. We're going to be celebrating. We took not only the pilots, but the people that flew the other planes, but also the mechanics that had these.
Why? Like, you bring people to the White House so often, it's like it's gonna lose its luster here, man.
These planes going for 37 hours without a stop.
Oh, long flight.
You know, we had 50, it was so far away. We had 52 tankers. Think of that, 52 that's loaded up with oil. I wouldn't want to fly one of those suckers over random. I say, what happens if they're shot at? Well, sir,
You have no courage, dude. There's no way you would have joined the military. I mean, you're a draft dodger.
that's a tough situation. It's not a pretty sight, but they were unbelievable.
And you couldn't handle it, bro. You couldn't handle military training. You couldn't handle anything.
Well, 52 tankers to load them up. They followed the planes in, and they never had to stop for fuel. They went 37 hours, actually. And how incredible.
He's explaining this like it's incredible. You can pick up any military magazine or go to military.com and learn all about this. There's a lot more amazing stuff than just what he's talking about. And why is this a big rambling speech to a crowd? I thought we were celebrating America's birthday, and it definitely started during war, but that wasn't our end goal. We're not trying to start more wars in the Middle East.
Incredible. What equipment. What equipment. And you know, China, Russia, they were all watching. Everybody was watching. We have the greatest equipment anywhere in the world. We have the greatest.
If you're talking about the parade, yeah, we were watching. We were watching military soldiers holding drones instead of flying them, and rickety ass tanks rolling down the street. That's what we saw.
People anywhere in the world. And we have the strongest military anywhere in the world.
True.
But we're going to fully modernize our air traffic control system and expand school choice and really so much more. By the way, the air traffic control, you probably don't have that problem here. You know, you have planes land like but in some congested areas, you saw what happened with the helicopter and the plane and a lot of other things.
So okay.
If we had great equipment, and we should have had, it was all set up to go. And then Biden canceled the order when he came in, but he canceled a lot of orders because he didn't know what the hell he was doing.
Granted, I mean, he had some smart people around him, hopefully giving him some advice. But at the end there, he probably didn't really know much was going on. But I looked this up. Obviously, you can verify this everywhere. Try to challenge me if you want. He Tried to get 8 billion to, and it was able to update some of the towers. The only reason you're saying this now, because as soon as you took over and put unqualified people in charge, planes started crashing. Even the transportation secretary told his wife not to fly out of Newark, but then they told all the public that it's totally safe. Hypocrisy and insanity. That's the hallmarks of this administration. So this next part is actually my favorite. It just shows a crazy old man rambling about something and trying to remember, starting a sentence and not knowing where it's headed. But that's pretty much his whole speech. But this right here is like, I don't know, 2 minutes of just complete bullshit and rambling. Let's find out what he's got to say here.
What I did do is during my first term, I got the Olympics and I got the great soccer, you know, that whole deal, right? We call it soccer, they call it football. I got them both. I got the Olympics. First, I got the Olympics and I got it.
What are you talking about? You don't know what you're saying next. You don't know what's about to come, obviously.
I was president and I said, you know, it's a shame.
Were you? You don't remember if you were? We don't remember.
It's a shame. I got the World Cup and I have the Olympics and I
What's the shame?
did it. And you have no President Obama didn't want to make a call to the Olympics. You know why? Because he went to Switzerland or wherever. And he said, you know, if a president goes to get the Olympics, you have to have a deal.
Have to have a deal. I don't know. What does that mean?
You have to be chosen. He went there and he came in fourth. So he hated them, I guess. And he was unwilling to make a call. And they called me up. Democrats called me up, actually, from Los Angeles. And I said, I'll do it. I made the call. And I couldn't get the people off the phone because they were so starved for love.
No. Bullshit.
Because nobody would call him from. Anyway, we made a deal. I got the Olympics. Then we got the World Cup with Johnny. We got the World Cup, and I got them both. And I looked at my people. I said, isn't it a shame? I got these two, but it wasn't in the next 4 years. It was right after that and the one after that. And I got the Olympics. I got the World Cup, and we also have 250. So it's a pretty wild term.
What's 250?
But I got these two things that are incredible. Nobody else could have done it. I'm telling you, everybody wanted it. Nobody could have done it.
Nobody can do it but me. That's Trump's MO about everything, even though how much stuff could he possibly be doing on his own? Nobody else deserves any credit but Trump. He is very good at taking that 48 Laws of Power book and enacting a lot of those chapters, especially the one where don't do any of the work, but always take the credit.
And I said, and I won't be president because I'll be president for 4 more years, but it won't be. And then they cheated and rigged the election. They rigged, you know, they don't.
It's been proven that they didn't. So let's go over some of that real quick, just off the top of my head. Fox got to pay Dominion Voting Systems 687 billion, or sorry, million. Yeah, million, to settle that lawsuit because they had to admit that they obviously was not true. So there you go. That's it. If you can't admit it in court, they're only giving 16 million to Trump just to shut him up. Almost $1 billion. And then right after that, the CEO came on and said, Fox is not a news station. We're an entertainment source. That's all you need to know about Fox.
Even turn off the cameras when I say that now because now they know it's true too. But they knew it was true before. Remember the cameras used to immediately turn off? You see all those beautiful red lights go off. Now I can say whatever I want because then they know it's true. But they knew it was true before. It's fake news. That's what they call it. But you know what?
Guys, you just have to, I mean, anybody that actually believes this, I'm talking to you. You just got to go look at a news source and then go cross-reference it. I don't care what you cross-reference it with. If I'm using ChatGPT for research, I am going to those sites that it's talking, and then I'm cross-referencing the next ones so I know what's going on. And I know that, a lot of us don't have time, but there's tons of people that don't have time to do anything, and they're able to find out a little bit about what's going on instead of like attending something this stupid.
This term is much more consequential than if I had done it the more traditional way. This was slightly harder, believe me. It's slightly more dangerous because they're criminals on the other side.
See, it's criminals on their side. I'm going to get off this part, but this is every speech, just ranting and raving and trying to divide the whole country. Is there going to be somebody out there that actually wants to unite people? Like, how is this going to help us go forward and actually, have good relationships, have good communities if everybody's just pissed at each other? This is not the guy that's going to do that. And that's the only thing that we actually need right now. All right, guys, if you enjoyed the episode and want facts and not opinions from people that have no idea what they're doing, that constantly misstate everything, just remember what this guy just said. 2 billion farms he saved. Later in the speech, he says there's 13,000 homicidal maniacs that he already deported, like in the last 5 months. Not true. 13,000 is actually a number. It's a little bit higher, but guess what? It's over 40 years. So this is Lies of the Orange Area. I break down all the bullshit. I don't care what side it's coming from. Just like that stupid mayor in New York. I can't believe he's still allowed to keep his office, the Democrat. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm going to keep doing. Like, subscribe, share this with somebody, especially somebody that just needs somebody to actually go over and needs somebody to listen to that's not completely delusional. Thanks a lot, guys.